And I mean, I wonder if he's been on anybody's show as much as he was on mine over the past couple of years. And I got to know his thoughts on virtually everything. And I saw what people are seeing now, how they were all infused with his Christian faith, that he was a truly happy warrior, that he gave almost everyone the benefit of the doubt, that
Yes.
he had a much more positive and optimistic outlook on humanity than I do. And I think than you do. I mean, I think we're a couple
Yes.
of cynical mofos. And Charlie
uh,
wasn't. Charlie was, he was like an angel. This picture that the left is painting of him in the news is totally foreign to my understanding of Charlie or to anything I've known. And I watched Charlie on his show too. I know the things they say he said that were controversial. They just fundamentally choose to misunderstand and misinterpret him. I mean, he was, you need look no further than Erica in order to see that he was real. Like her goodness, her love, their love story, her strength in the wake of his death. That's the woman he loved, and that's a woman who loved him. Why? Because he was some devil figure? The opposite. These
yeah.
two were as wholesome as you could find. And everything he said was from his love of humanity and his belief that they could do better. I mean, I am much more like, no, they can't. Let's move on without them. Like we've got to, And Charlie, I mean, in all of these college campus exchanges, whenever talking about most people, he would feel like everyone could be redeemed. And if he could just get to them, if he could just talk to them, if he could just buoy them up with hope, they would do better. They could see themselves as Charlie saw them, as God sees them. And I just ran into that optimism and that positivity from Charlie so often that I really did see him as God's messenger, Tucker, as an angel sent to us. And it's like, we didn't deserve him. I feel like he's gone now because we didn't deserve him.
Man, you are too deep for cable news. No wonder you left. That's just such a beautiful summation and so insightful. I'm not sucking up. I mean it. I wish I had said half of that in my open. So, but why is that so provocative? I've been thinking about this since he was murdered. Like, what of all the people that we know in our business, the kind of let me give you my opinion business. I think it's fair to say he was the kindest. I mean, for real, and in private too.
Yeah.
Even people he was really mad at, he would always say, "Well, I understand where that person's coming from." It's like, wow, his decency was a challenge to me, who struggles to be that. Why was that so offensive to people?
Because it was power. It's so much more powerful, frankly, than negativity and anger.
Yeah.
It's infectious. It's a contagion. It's like a magnet for people, whether they like him or not. They're drawn to him, and he was converting people. So he was a huge threat. That's really, like, I've been asking myself this question a lot over the past week. Let's take the accused shooter in this case.
Yes.
And let's say, okay, it was motivated exactly as the authorities say. And he thought Charlie was, quote, too hateful. And this is a guy who's into furries and he's into trannies and he's living with one and, all the things. Why would Charlie have been targeted by this guy for that? Why would it be Charlie? You say all the same things. I say all the same things. Most of the people in our space and in conservative or independent media say those things. Why? Why Charlie? And sadly, I think it's this factor. It's this magnetism from him, this positivity, this aura, like that, this angel-like aura around him that was so incredibly threatening, way more threatening than the rest of us because it was powerful and it was winning people over. It was converting people at a rapid rate, and not just any people, but young people. The people who had never been converted before, the people for whom people who talk like you and talk like me had never even tried. They weren't even players on the field. They were seated in the whole battle. And he said, no, we're not seating them. I'm going to start at 18 to speaking to them in a way that they can hear and understand me. And I'm going to practice it. For the past 13 years, he practiced. He went out campus after campus. And in the beginning, he wasn't as good as he was in the end. He was good, but he wasn't as good. And so it was a skill he developed over time that made him more and more threatening, more and more effective.
Yep.
And you look at the numbers just in the presidential election. It's not an overstatement to say that Donald Trump has Charlie to thank for his election in November 2024, swinging the youth vote by 9 points.
Yeah.
We've never seen anything like it in the past 100 years. You don't swing the youth vote toward a Republican, nothing in modern presidential politics. So he was a really integral, hugely important player, even though he was so understated and projected zero ego. So you didn't see him like that. He didn't have sort of the swagger of that in most of his public appearances. He was quick to subjugate himself to whomever he was talking to, but he was way more important than he ever let on. And I think that's why he was perceived as such a threat. That's why him saying the things others would say carried an extra layer of threat, yet both to this shooter and to Charlie's many detractors. And I just want to add as a period to this, as a footnote, I guess, to this, Tucker, you have a lot of it too. And it is the reason why Charlie is not the only one who's been threatened or was threatened to cut ties with you or not platform you. I too have gotten that, especially since you've been more outspoken on Israel. And I couldn't care less the amount of pressure they put on. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is madness. Why would you want to silence such a powerful, important voice just because you disagree with them on one subject, one on which we've all watched you sincerely evolve as you grapple with principles you've been espousing for years, like America First, like what's happening to Christians, like what's best for us and our kids here? How do I keep them safe? That's my number one priority. And I've been just absolutely disgusted and recoiled from people who have tried to pressure me on it. It, of course, never happened. But I know from speaking to Charlie, he felt it too. You've heard it from Charlie that he felt, and there is a layer here of nefarious pressure to have certain narratives go only one way.
Yes.
That must be called out and must be fought.
Well, I should have said in my open that when Charlie was denounced as anti-Semitic and, quote, dangerous by the American Jewish Committee, you were too. That was a press. I don't know if you've ever even seen it. And I just remember when I read that at the time thinking, okay, these are like two of the most pro-Israel, basically pro-Israel people like on the internet. I don't understand. So maybe we should have this offline, but let's just have it now. I don't get that. Why would you attack? There are definitely people who hate Israel who are not anti-Semites, or people who hate Israel who are anti-Semites. There's a whole range. And then there are like people who have like, religious reasons for wanting to blow up Israel. Those are all threats. Why would they be attacking you and Charlie? And honestly, I feel like me. I mean, what is that? Why attack people who are pretty reasonable, who don't want to get into a fight on the topic, who just want to like have their country thrive? Why denounce them as dangerous anti-Semites? What is that?
And let me just underscore for your audience what I had said. I mean,
I understand that asking the question that you know the answer to is a common interviewing strategy, but Tucker never, to my knowledge, has never answered that question. And we all know he knows the answer to that question. So I don't like it. He did a whole segment before. He can do a segment at any time throughout the years answering that question, or recently, if this just happened since July. It's a pretty important question to answer. Tucker has an answer for it, and he has not answered. Why?
Sum total of what I had said when they started coming for me, just to show the absurdity of this. I had said on...
This is Aftershow Carnage.